In my personal opinion, I don't think there's a best exercise, and I'm going to get into 3 different things as to why I think there isn't a best exercise and why. When people say that, that's bollocks. Like, obviously, I just want to explain before I go into this video that obviously there's a good exercise, obviously there's good exercises, and obviously there's bad exercises, but I don't think there's a best exercise. So I just want to briefly disclaim that before I get into this video. So just before I get into it, I actually want to introduce myself to you guys if you don't know me already. So, my name is Ryan, I'm a 19-year-old and I have physically and mentally transformed myself over the past 3.5 years, taking myself from this in 2021 to looking like this now in 2024. And I'm on a mission to help as many skinny young guys bulk up, gain weight, and I just want to be able to help change as many skinny young men's lives as possible. And in order to help me do this, I've recently just launched my very own free online community, which, you guessed it, helps skinny guys bulk and gain weight who struggle with it. So if that ticks all your boxes, then, you know, it's going to be the top link in the description there for you. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So obviously, as I said, I don't think there is a best exercise for anything. When people say there's a best exercise for chest, best exercise for back, I personally believe that is complete bollocks. And obviously, there's three things I want to get into as to why this is. So first of all, the first reason why I don't think there's a best exercise, obviously, as I said, there's good exercises, there's bad exercises, but I don't believe there's best exercises, is because everybody's different, right? Everybody is different, and that physically can't be argued against, right? I'm different to you, I don't look like you, everyone is built different, everyone is born different, we're not the same person, right? Which basically means that obviously we're going to have different preferences. Obviously, you may like to do something that you may like to do something that I may not necessarily like to do. And that's not necessarily in the gym, that's in life as well. For example, I might really, really like football, for example, right? And you may hate football, and you might like to watch rugby instead, or you may be a golf lover. But I personally, well, I don't hate golf, but in this situation, imagine I hate golf, but you might love golf, right? Everyone is different. Everyone has different preferences. Everyone has different hobbies. Everyone has different personalities. Everyone has different ways of thinking. Therefore, in the gym, everybody is different in terms of different things work for different people, and different people have different strategies, different methods and different workouts, and they use different exercises that work for them. This is why I personally don't believe there is a best exercise, okay? For example, my favourite exercise right now, and it has been for quite a while actually, I fucking love incline dumbbell press. I don't know what it is, I just feel my chest so much. I have the best muscle connection. I love going heavy on it. I feel like I've mastered the form, and I absolutely love it, right? However, my best mate who I go to the gym with, he doesn't necessarily like to do incline dumbbell press. He prefers to do incline Smith machine. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the incline Smith machine as well, but something about that incline dumbbell press is just different. But he likes to do incline Smith machine, and it works for him, and you know, he's got a very, very good chest as well. So, you know, different things work for different people, different exercises work for different people, and different people prefer to do different exercises. Therefore, that is why I don't personally believe that there is a best exercise for anything, because everyone is different. Different things work better for different people. For example, you may prefer to revise in school one way using one strategy. For example, you may love to do flashcards. However, that was how I felt as well. For example, so many people that, you know, I was mates with and all that stuff, they like to use flashcards when they were revising for their exams. However, I didn't necessarily like to use flashcards. I really like to write out spider maps and maps in order to I just prefer to do different things, okay? So everyone is different. Everyone prefers to do different things and has different preferences. So when someone says that they think that's the best exercise to do, that's because of their preference. Obviously, you can take, you know, you can, you know, give or take it with a pinch of salt, right? Obviously, if I suggest for you to do incline dumbbell press, obviously, I think it's the best exercise, but that's for me, right? It may not necessarily be the best exercise for you. So it's so important that you obviously find your groove, find what works for you, and obviously, this video is tailored towards you skinny guys, and I'm assuming you're a skinny guy who wants to bulk and gain weight, and you're in the starting phase of your gym journey. Obviously, you're not necessarily going to know what works for you the best, right? That's all about experience. That's all about gaining the experience over time. So obviously, you know, experimenting with different exercises, you know, feeling what works for you, and, you know, whatever you feel works for you, and whatever you feel like you've got a great mind muscle connection with, and whatever you feel like you're properly stimulating the muscle with. And most importantly, if you actually enjoy that, then do that, right? Don't just do something because Arnold tells you to, or Arnold did that back in the day when he was training, right? Because you may not enjoy that, and you may not feel the muscle doing that, and you may, yeah, you may not feel like it's going to work for you. So everyone is different. Do what works for you, and that is the first reason as why I don't think there is a best exercise, okay? And on to reason number 2 of why I don't necessarily think there is a best exercise to do for anything, right? And that is because the muscle doesn't know what exercise you're doing, right? The muscle only knows that it's being stimulated, and the muscle only knows it's being isolated, okay? The muscle can't tell the difference between incline dumbbell press and incline barbell press, or low to high cable flies, right? The upper chest can't tell what exercise it's doing, right? The only thing the muscle cares about, and the only thing that the muscle can identify, is whether it's being contracted properly, whether it's being stimulated properly, and you know, it can't. The muscle doesn't know what exercise it's doing, right? Only you know the exercise it's doing, right? So the point I'm trying to get at in this second reason as to why I don't think there's a best exercise is that you need to sort of shift your focus from not necessarily focusing on the best exercise to do, or, you know, exercises to do, but actually stimulating the muscle and performing the right technique and performing the right form, and making sure you get all of that stuff under wraps as quick as possible. So in my opinion, I don't think the exercise is too relevant. What you actually need to focus on is how you actually stimulate the muscle and how you isolate the muscle. And a really good thing that I've written down on my plan that I want to read out to you guys is that muscles respond to stimulation and time under tension and contraction and obviously stress, but the muscle doesn't respond to the type of exercise you're doing, right? You could be doing incline dumbbell press, you could be doing incline barbell press, you could be doing incline Smith machine, but if you're not performing the exercise right, and if you're not stimulating your muscle properly and putting it under the tension and the stress it needs to be put under in order to grow, then you're not going to grow muscle. You need to be able to do these things. So that's the second thing that I wanted to talk about with you guys. So the muscle doesn't know what it's doing. The muscle doesn't know what exercise it's doing. It only knows whether it's being stimulated or not, and that is what is truly important in relation to growing muscle. So that is the second reason as to why I don't think there is a best exercise, and why I don't think people should really be saying that. And now on to the final thing, the third and final reason as to why I don't believe that there is a best exercise. And this is because, sorry, I'm just looking right to you guys on my plan. Very unprofessional of me, I know. So the third thing that I want to talk about is it's not actually down to the exercise that grows muscle. As I just said, it really links nicely onto the second point, really links nicely onto the third point. It's not necessarily the exercise you do, but it's how you train, right? As I said, the muscle doesn't know what exercise you're performing, right? You could be performing incline dumbbell press, you could be performing incline Smith machine, you could be performing incline barbell press, for all the muscle knows. But if you're not performing it right, then, you know, it's not going to grow. Simple as that. If you aren't performing the exercise right, whether the exercise is a good exercise or a good exercise, or whether it's a bad exercise, if you're not performing it right, then it's not going to help you, right? And I want to give you guys a little example to put it into perspective. So I want to give you guys a little example to actually, you know, to sort of make this make sense. Okay, so imagine you've never played golf before, and you go to the driving range with your pals, right? And I don't know if you've played golf before, I don't know if you have or you haven't, but in this situation, can we just imagine that you haven't played golf before, okay, before we carry on? So you're going to the driving range, you're with your pals, and you get given the best driver or the best golf club on the golfing market, okay? You get given the most technologically advanced golf club, and you get given, you know, the most expensive golf club and all of that good stuff, okay? But as I said, you've never hit a golf shot before. You've never gone to the driving range before, so you have absolutely no idea what to expect, and your technique is awful. So in that case, it doesn't necessarily matter how good or bad the golf club is. You're not going to swing the ball anywhere. You're not even going to make a connection with it, right? Because if you don't know how to swing a golf ball, it doesn't matter how good or bad the golf club is. If you don't know how to swing a golf ball, then you're not going to get anywhere, full stop. It's the exact same thing with the gym. If you follow, the best chest program for 2018, for example, but you've never been in the gym before and you don't know how to perform the exercise right, then then you know you're simply not going to grow muscle, because you're not going to know how to stimulate the muscle properly, give the muscle enough time and attention, and all of that stuff. So let me put it into a gym perspective for you guys. So for example, if a professional bodybuilder was performing bad exercises that are known as bad in 2018, for example, but you are performing all the good exercises, who do you reckon is going to make the most progression? Most obviously the bodybuilder that's doing the bad exercises, because they know how to perform the exercise, they know how to stimulate the muscle properly, they know how to perform the technique and give the muscle enough time and attention in order to grow, compared to you who's doing the good exercises or the best exercises. You don't know how to do all that stuff, so you can't grow muscle, full stop. So it's so important that you actually switch your priorities from not necessarily focusing on doing the good exercises or the best exercises, and avoiding the bad exercises, but actually training properly, making sure you know how to perform the technique properly, making sure you give your muscle enough time and attention, making sure you've actually got a good mind muscle connection with what you're doing, okay? And obviously making sure you're giving your muscle enough range of motion so you can give the muscle its stretch it needs in order to, for the muscle fibers to contract at the bottom so you can grow muscle. So it's so important that you actually, you get your priorities right and focus on getting the basics right, knowing how to perform exercises, knowing how to stimulate the muscle, knowing how to enhance and build that relationship with that mind and the muscle, that connection, okay? So all of that stuff is super, super important, and that is the third reason as to why I don't necessarily believe that there is a best exercise. And the muscle doesn't care about what exercise it does, it cares about how you do it and how you perform with the exercise, okay? So a couple of things that you guys are gonna actually, are gonna look to do after this video is, first of all, going back to the first point about how everyone's different, find what works for you. Okay, just because Arnold may say that, for example, incline dumbbell press is a shit exercise, I don't know if he said that, I'm just saying it as an example in this situation. You may love incline dumbbell press and you may really feel your chest with it, so don't go with what Arnold's saying. If you really feel it and you really feel like you've seen some growth and you feel the muscle properly and you really enjoy it, right? Don't necessarily just go off that. Find what works for you, find what you like to do, find what you like to enjoy, and then you're going to grow more muscle at the end of the day. It's so simple. So obviously, as I said at the start of your journey, you may not necessarily know what's good or bad for you, so just keep experimenting, and the more experience you get, the more wiser you're going, the wiser you're going to get, therefore the more you're going to know what works for you and what doesn't. So keep going and you're going to get there in the end, my friend. And obviously the second thing is just train properly. Make sure you got your priorities right. Don't necessarily focus on the exercise, focus on actually making sure you're performing the exercise right first, because without performing the exercise right, you're not going to be able to stimulate muscle growth, because in order to actually stimulate our muscles, we do exercises, and if you can't perform the exercise right, then you're not going to grow muscle, full stop, okay? So make sure you dial your technique in before, doing things such as increasing the weight and increasing your intensity and doing all this advanced shit. Just make sure you got the basics first, make sure you're training properly, build a good foundation for yourself, and then you can obviously build. And as I said, regardless whether the exercise is good or bad, if you feel the muscle working, then just carry on with it, okay? Fuck what they're saying about best exercise bullshit, okay? So that is the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope you guys have truly learnt something, and my opinion and my view on how I don't necessarily think there's a best exercise. If something works for you, then do it, okay? Doesn't really matter what everyone else is saying, all right? I mean, obviously, obviously it's all good to refer to some like scientifically backed up stuff and some evidence-based stuff, and obviously what people that are successful are saying. But if something works for you, then stay true to yourself. Don't be a sheep and follow everyone else, and do what you want to fucking do, okay? If you have enjoyed this video and truly learned something, as I said, I'd really, really appreciate it if you drop a like, a comment, and a subscription, so the algorithm can recommend me to you more, so you can learn from me, and hopefully I can help you change your life as a skinny guy, and hopefully I can help you bulk up and gain the muscle you want to gain. Now, back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video. If my free community sounds like it ticks all of your boxes, then it's going to be the top link in the description. We've already got like 60 members in there, so it's growing slowly, it's growing every day, and I would absolutely love to see you in there. So without further ado, I will see you in the next video.